Hi, I'm Starcy Lolo. I'm a retired financial investigator. We're going to talk about the Canadian fires today and see what an ex-firefighter has to say about it.
If you were to try and spray an area of northern Ontario, it's almost as much farmland as in the entire United States. That's more glyphosate than anyone has. And why would they do that? It just doesn't make any sense at all. So all this to say that the fires are the way they always were. If you get the right wind conditions and a really bad season in a particular area, that smoke will push into the US. Last year it was in Quebec, which is right over top of New York and all of those other states. The smoke came down. This year it's in Northern Ontario. The winds happen to be pushing that way, and it seems like this is happening more regularly. Everyone gets concerned about climate change and everything else. That's not the case. There's another policy that was introduced in the 1980s where we stopped going in to fight every fire because it's natural for the life cycle of the forest to replenish itself. Fire is good for the forest. It's what it needs and actually how it...
To a point, he is correct. Fire is destruction. Destruction spurs creation, which spurs new life and new growth for everything that helps the environment, the animals. We all know this, so tell us something we don't know, right?
Repopulates itself. So if you go in and start fighting every fire, you end up with a bigger, badder situation in the future because you didn't allow that forest to replenish at the right time. So now what we've done is we've set up a program called Bob Fires, or Being Observed. So what they'll do is if the fire is not close to a community, they will just let it burn. Most of the fires, and I have here the SOP from Thursday. So this is yesterday's SOP report for the Northwest Fire Region. And you can see all the causes. So we have railway, lightning, 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 lightning. We have no cause here, lightning, 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 all lightning. So everyone thinking that these are human caused, they're not. In order to call it lightning, you have to find the lightning tree. You have to find the source. And they have to document it and take pictures of it. So you have ones here that haven't yet been documented, but lightning, 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 lightning. Now you can go here to the type of fire. Here's the...
Now, as someone who has actually worked fire cases before, more so on the civil side, a little on the criminal side, my question is, are there actual fire investigators going out there on site, boots on the ground, that are actually verifying not just the cases with the lightning strikes, that you can actually find a lightning tree? What about all the other cases?
Condition. This one's out. This is under control. This is out. This is being held, meaning they have a line around the fire. Not under control, not under control, not under control. But then you get into Bob. Bob fire. We're just watching this one. Bob fire. 30,000 hectares. We're just watching it because it's not near any communities. It's not posing any danger to any humans. Not under control. These ones are big. Not under control. Out. Bob fire. Being held. Bob fire. Now look at this. When you get into Nipigon region, Bob, 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 Bob. Bob, out, not under control, not under control, not under control, not under control. Bob, 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 Bob. Here's Sioux Lookout region. This is where I worked. Just lakes and trees. We would typically fly by helicopter for up to 2 hours to get to a fire, and you would see nothing. No roads, no communities, no houses, no camps, no anything. Lakes, trees, and rivers. You would touch down to fight this fire because it was within 20 kilometers of a community. That's when we would go in. And you would know that you are the only human to have ever stepped foot in that area of the world because it is so remote, so desolate, no one can ever get to it. So they're not spraying glyphosates. This is not evidence that the climate is changing in any way. This is spruce budworm kill, natural boreal forest replenishing, lightning strikes hitting dry, deep soil ground that is able to hold that lightning, and it usually takes a couple days for that smoke column to start. All we're waiting for now is a bunch of rain. And when the rain comes through, it'll kill those fires as it always does, and the crews will be able to get in there and get some work done. So that's it. That's my rant. I hope this helps some people that are a little bit concerned about it. To Bob, 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 fly by helicopters, trees, and only human to... So, strikes hitting dry, deep... All we're waiting for now is a bunch of rain. And when the...
My take on this is There's not enough information. Are these reports from? No, they are from the Northwest Fire Region Co-operators report. I don't say anything about a fire investigator, fire service doing an investigation. Are these public knowledge or public records? Are they something that we need something to request, such as a FOIA request in the US, Freedom of Information Act? Canada probably has their own version of the FOIA request. Where are the actual pictures? Where is the evidence? Where are the source documents? Where are the actual reports of fire investigators? The counties, the feds, the state will all be working together. We're talking thousands of acres here being burnt. There's probably more to it than meets the eye. The people would want to know. People of America, people of Canada. I am from California. I lived in California during years of fires. I had in Forest Hill, California, up the hill, about 30 minutes away. We had smoke in our skies for 2 months to the point where our children couldn't even play recess outside. I could actually see what was going on. Does that mean that I was the fire investigator, or I was the firefighter, or I was the resident that was there, I had a coworker there? And behind the scenes, I'll say, working in work, because I can't say anything else, I saw different things. So it also does not mean that people might not be starting fires to add to the fires that are already going on, civil or criminal arson cases. Just putting that out there. Am I saying that the Canadian government is starting fires? Of course not. I'm saying that we need more evidence, and this explanation, which does not go into any detail other than a Northwest Fire Region report, co-operators report, unless this is Canada's version of the fire investigators, I need more information. We need more information.